From Country Club Lanes in Baltimore, Maryland, Prime proudly presents the 19th stop on the Brunswick World Team Bowling Challenge Series. And we welcome you to Country Club Lanes here in the Baltimore area for one of our very special events, the Women's Championship here this afternoon. Hello again, everybody. Jay Randolph, along with Paula Carter, Hall of Famer. And Paula, great to have you with us. It's been a wonderful competition up to now.
Yes, it has, and it's an honor to work with you. We had a great competition this week. We've had 39 teams, the biggest so far, from 14 different states.
And our #1 qualifying team, Kaviki's, they have been something special.
They're tough. They led the regular qualifying. They came over here. They led the Baker system qualifying. 9-0. They're going to be tough to beat.
Well, I'm looking forward to your expertise this afternoon, and we're looking forward to this first match. In the first match of the afternoon, here at Country Club Lanes, we have a wonderful group from Du Bois, Pennsylvania. The Du Bois, Pennsylvania Lanes, and then the vice grips from Bel Air, Maryland. We will be back with our opening match right after these messages.
The American Bowling Congress and the Women's International Bowling Congress, providing championship service to sanctioned leagues across the United States. Make sure your league is sanctioned by the national governing bodies. By Lynn's Shoes. For the performance approach, it's American-made Lynn's Shoes, the choice of bowlers worldwide. By Turbo 2-in-1 Grips. More top players are switching to Turbo 2-in-1 Grips. By Bud Light, offering the $25,000 Perfect Game Challenge. By the National Bowling Stadium in Reno, Nevada, bringing you the lucky roll of the match. And by Brunswick. Bowling is sold on Brunswick worldwide.
Here at Country Club Lanes, Brenda Edwards, the vice grips, and Laura Wolfgang of Du Bois Lanes, shaking hands as we get started here. This is Brenda Edwards, 20 years old, a student at the University of Nebraska. She lives in Lincoln.
Well, she threw a very good shot for the opening shot. They must be a little bit nervous out there, although they have bowled in some team competition before, a lot of team competition, but still when you get under the lights, boy, it's a little nerve-wracking.
Things off. And we'll get a look now at Laura Wolfgang, who leads off for Du Bois Lanes, Pennsylvania. She's a pro bowler on occasion and a human resource administrator. No problem there.
She came up high that time, up to 310. The lanes this week tended to be a little bit drier in the center, so the ball's going to hook a little bit more in the center. We'll go a little straighter on the edges. So there's a fine line there. They're going to have to find good speed so the ball doesn't hook high.
And now, with the television lights, of course, they adjust as we go along.
Exactly. The way she meant to make that, but it works anyway.
And our contour power grip starting lineup. There you see Edwards and Larson, the other Edwards, Norman and Zelke. Interesting, actually, the system combinations here.
Oh, and a bad break. Good pocket hit. Solid 8-pin. Yes, there are 3 sisters on that team, and one of them is married, so her name is Zelke. But they've bowled together, University of Nebraska. A couple of them were on the tour, and they're really, they had a pep talk before we even started today, so they're really into this team bowling.
This is Jen Larson again, and she got the spare there. She's also living in Lincoln, Nebraska these days, a student at Nebraska, the Cornhuskers. Now Lisa Farwell, who's a restaurant manager. And she got them all. A little late tap over there.
Came in a little high in the pocket, but it's okay because it carries, and that's what we're looking for, is that high carry.
Our Contour Power Grips lineup for the team from Du Bois Lanes: Wolfgang, Farwell, Wagner, Rutherford, and Sellers. Here's Jerry Edwards. Nicely done.
What amazed me this week is the team spirit. Boy, all the teams, they had a camaraderie with each other, and it's just been fabulous to see everybody come together.
Jerry was giving her team a real pep talk there earlier. She's a Team USA coach. And look here, a problem. You wouldn't expect it from Leona Wagner, but Leona has a problem right off the bat. She left 4, 6, 7. And
Also known as the Greek Church, and a couple other names that I can't mention on television, but she'll go for the 3 and get the wood. And yes, Leona is a member of the LPGT, but she hasn't traveled much because she has 2 children now.
she's doing some television work.
Yes, she is. Great commentator.
This is Brenda Norman, another student at Nebraska, 21 years of age. Member of that 95 Intercollegiate Bowling Championship titleist team.
They're all playing around the same arrow between the 2nd and 3rd arrow, but if you don't keep the speed up, the ball's going to hook high. And so they can learn off of each other. You know, they'll watch each other, and as one adjusts, the other one will adjust, and that's a good part of this team bowling.
Yeah, the team concept allows them to communicate, get a lot of information, make some decisions as they go along. Well, in the Baker system, you want to fill the frames. Shelley Rutherford, a customer service representative, owns the 6th highest 9-game total in WIBC history, 2,236.
She's a lefty, playing off the corner.
The 7th pin standing.
I didn't see many lefties this tournament. I don't know why, but there weren't that many out there. So sometimes it's an advantage because the lane isn't going to be used as often. So sometimes they can set their own condition up and just play on it. She'll move all the way to the right side of the approach and shoot 7-pin cross lane.
Look out. Into the channel before it got to the ball. Well, you mentioned this is our largest women's field of the tour this year, 39 teams from 14 states. And right now, Vice Grip's up by 24 pins. Kathy Zelke strikes. Kathy, a pro bowler, lives in Bel Air, Maryland, and as you mentioned, one of the sisters. She is the married sister now. Now we get a look at Jackie Sellers. Jackie's a pro bowler and a former Collegiate Bowler of the Year, and then the Lions of Penn State. Penn State, Nebraska, known for their football, but also some very fine bowlers. And a strike for Jackie Sellers. And we'll return with more of the Brunswick World Team Challenge, our semifinal match, right after these messages.
The sun stays up, the prices go.
For the second go-round in this opening match, Brenda Edwards gets the strike. She's a two-time collegiate All-American and an academic All-American. Very bright lady in the classroom as well.
You know, you look at some of these ladies and they look so feminine and petite, and they go up there and they throw that ball, and boy, I'll tell you, they crank them.
Well, it's wonderful to see how many women are bowling in America today, and the growth of the game for the women has just been remarkable. It's a little high, but it didn't make any difference.
No, it didn't.
Laura Wolfgang.
Leona Wagner pointed out to me that the tallest girl on their team is 5'4" tall, so it just shows you don't need to be powerfully built to be a good bowler.
Good things come in small packages. Jen Larson. Joyce Deitch, IBC president, has just done a tremendous job. Good to have her here.
Yes, she has. She's made a lot of inroads and done new things with the WIBC, and we're looking forward to the future.
She won't be able to stay for the championship match. She got to catch a plane to Milwaukee, get back to bowling headquarters. It's good to have her here. Well, no. It's in the channel.
Okay, the rule on that is that if the ball goes into the channel first and then hits the pin, it's still a no count. It's better.
And you'll see it again here.
Yes.
Get up, get up, get up.
Another 10 pin.
Seems
So
like
far well.
they're coming in, to the pocket, but the pins just don't seem to have the action, and a lot of times that has to do with the lane conditions. If they have to play it a certain way, they might have to be a little deeper than they're normally used to, and the ball comes into the pocket, but not forcibly enough to carry the corner pin. And that's why this team competition is so important to just fill the frames, as you said. Spares really are important.
Vice Grips now leading by 13. Jerry Edwards. Jerry now the general manager of Coventry Campus Lanes and the Team USA coach, living in Akron, Ohio.
Jerry does a lot of coaching. She does. I've noticed she's had articles in magazines. Very, very much involved in bowling. She's a good representative for us.
Oh my! She's open here. Leona Wagner now. 2 LPBT national and 3 regional titles. Was the youngest bowler at age 18 to win a WIBC national tournament title. The 79 team. That's more like it.
Back on. Into the strike. Because she's watched everybody. Now she should be pretty much lined up. Everybody should know where they should play. And now it's a matter of speed control, angle to the pocket. And then they'll be on their way.
We're all even here. Remember, this is a 2-game match. The winner will play Kaviki's Corner Pro Shop from White Plains, New York for the championship. Brenda Norman.
It's just really critical in there to hold the speed. Once you get in there and these reactive resin balls, it's just going to hook like crazy. And you leave these spares that you normally won't see in your game.
A 1-3-6-9.
Right, that's not a common leave for a right-hander.
Let's see how she handles this one.
Well, she didn't come up. She gave it more room to the right, and then she caught the conditioner, and it never came back. So there's that critical area there. It's going to be tough, but most of the women said they'd rather have a condition like this than a shootout with a lot of strikes.
Good point. Shelley Rutherford. And the lefty gets them all.
That was an explosive ball. Notice how that 5-pin went flying out of there. And, you know, she did everything she was supposed to do, no corner pins or anything. So I think as it goes along, you know, they get more comfortable, we're going to see a lot more strikes.
Du Bois now in the lead. Kathy Zelke.
Kathy hit the out-of-bounds area, what we call it, when the ball doesn't come back. You hit that out-of-bounds and it just keeps going straight.
She's not too happy. She's got a 1-3-9 lead down there. Picked him up.
With a sigh of relief. Okay, that's one way to make it.
Yep.
On the pocket again, but it's okay. She's out of it, and now maybe she has a better idea of what's going to happen the next game.
And I'll switch lanes after this first game also. Jackie Sellers owns one LPBT national title. Owns 9 Women's All-Star Association titles also.
Come on, next.
Gotta hurry.
Might be a little more hold on that right lane as opposed to the left lane. It seems to be having a little bit easier time over there.
I think Sellers was a little worried about that, but she was able to get a little help there.
Well, that strike gave him a 43-pin lead. If she strikes out, excuse me.
Yeah. And, boy, 7-10.
Now, Jay, in my opinion, this is the worst break in bowling. Throw the ball well, and you can't even get a spare.
And there's nothing you can do about it.
No, it's the worst. I mean, I think it's the absolute worst break in bowling.
In this first match, it is Du Bois Lanes by 30. And we'll continue with more from Baltimore right after this. Let's update you on other finishers. Sunset Recreation, Albany, New York, finishing 4th. In the 5th position, the Brunswick Lady Rhino Pros from Buffalo, New York. And Lynn's Shoes, they had finished 2nd twice earlier and didn't get into the top 3 this time. Players Corner Pro Shop, Aurora, Illinois in 7th position. Finishing 8th, the Virginia Queens out of Richmond, Virginia. And Brunswick in the zone, Muskegon, Michigan, finishing 9th. And Goodling Trucking Company of Willow Street, Pennsylvania, finishing 10th. Here is Laura Wolfgang as we begin the second game. 30-pin lead right now. The first game, a 201 for Du Bois Lanes to Vice Grips 171.
When you see them go off to the side to get the other bowling ball, Jay, it's because they can only have 10 balls on the rack at a time. And if they want to switch balls for their spare balls, they have to leave it off the rack.
A lot of loft on that. Lift and loft. No problem there. She did it in good fashion. Had teams from Virginia, Pennsylvania, New York, Illinois, New Jersey, South Carolina, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Louisiana, Michigan, Ohio, North Carolina, Kansas, and Maryland here this week. Brenda Edwards.
I think that's the lane that's pulled back a little bit. And I think if they were watching the other team that had just come off of that lane, they'd probably known that it didn't hook as much. You'll see the replay here. She goes out between the first and the second arrow, and it's just not going to make it back.
And the 1-2-4-10.
This is not a very difficult spare. She'll have to come in on the Brooklyn side between the 1 and the 2.
Almost converted.
She should be a fashion model. What's she doing bowling?
Well, you know, look, I mean, a wonderful looking group of ladies.
They really are. And educated. And it's great.
Lisa Farwell. Boy, a little bit of a tough break there when the 10 wouldn't go down. 4-7-10 for her. I think the image of women's bowling certainly has changed over the past decade, too. You've seen that.
Yes, I have, Jay.
Wonderful.
It's been great, and I think, you know, there have always been feminine women out there bowling and everything, but I don't know where we got this truck driver type image, but it's certainly not the case anymore.
No. Two former national amateur champions in the field here. Joey Biondo of Rolling Meadows, Illinois. In 93 is Joey Simpson. Linda Graham of Des Moines, Iowa in 90. And three-time Team USA member Vince Biondo was on hand to watch his newlywed bride perform here this week. Nice job there by Lisa Farwell. Excuse me, that was not Lisa Farwell. Jen Larson.
She played that a little more inside, held the line better, tripped out the 4. And these lanes haven't been used today, so they're a little bit tighter than what they've been used to playing on.
Leona Wagner. Bingo.
Great shot there. Nice and firm. And that's one thing you can't do here is let off on the shot. You know, you probably can't do it in a lot of places, but watch the release. You see that follow through? It doesn't stop. It goes straight up almost to the sky.
Jerry Edwards. Strike for Jerry. So this one's heating up a bit here. We'll return with more of the World Team Bowling Challenge from Country Club Lanes in Baltimore right after these messages. Rutherford. She's the 7.
Well, she's going to have to make an adjustment. She's going after her spare ball now. Shoot across lane.
Du Bois lanes, a qualifying average of 200.7, Baker average of 190.9. In match play, this team was 7-2.
They had another game to bowl. I think they might have caught the leaders. They just made a phenomenal late charge and secured second place.
Brenda Norman. Brenda with a league average of 197. Looking good. Oh, yeah. Don't do it any better than that.
No, you can't. If you notice it, when she released the ball, her momentum was forward. Everything was perfect in her follow-through, right over her target.
Boys now leading by only 7. This Baker system gives us some exciting finishes.
Yes, it does. And these girls that have bowled in the collegiate ranks, they've all mostly Baker systems. So they're used to it.
Jackie Sellers with the strike. Now here's Kathy Zelke.
Wonder how they got a lefty in the family.
Yes. Well, these two teams are really heating up. A 3-pin lead now for Vice Grips. Of course, we have the $25,000 Bud Light Perfect Game Challenge. Perfect game. It's a little short. At the Grand Championship. It's going to go to $100,000 for a perfect game. Grand Championship coming up July 16th through the 19th at the National Bowling Stadium in Reno.
Oh, that's going to be a great tournament.
Yeah, we look forward to that.
Just catches that dry, and she went right by the lead pin that she needed to hit, which was the 2-pin. You know, the girls were telling me something interesting is that when they want to make a change, a ball change, they were afraid to do it because the other girls were kind of relying on them to get, you know, to fill the frame. And when you bowl individually, you don't mind running out and making a change, you know, because you're doing it just for yourself. But when you have 4 other people that are counting on you, it's a little difficult.
A strike for Brenda Edwards. 27-pin lead right now. Vice Grips is up. And Mark Furman here in the audience. Nice to see him. We'll be back right after this. The women's qualifying took place. Very tight match here. The ABC staff very busy this week with the 2 events going on at the same time here in Baltimore.
Now when you get a little soft in there in the middle, you leave something like that, and it's not the easiest spare to pick up. 3-9. Yeah, Jay, as you said, they bowled in 2 different houses, which is something different. And they were a little concerned coming in here today, you know, bowling the finals. But a lot of the same teams that were up there stayed up there, so you know that they're bowling well.
And Lisa Farwell picks up the spare. And here's Jen Larson. Jen is the youngest of the competitors, age 19.
There's an underlying current here with these bowlers. A lot of them are in the collegiate ranks, but also they're members of WASA, which is the Women's All-Star Association in the Northeast. And many of the bowlers here have many titles in the WASA. And I guess you'd call it sort of the next step down a little from the pro bowlers, and then they go from WASA and they go sometimes enjoying the LPBT. But you get so much experience bowling these tournaments, and a lot of these girls, that's how they meet and put these teams together.
Pearl Keller of the WIBC runs that program.
He does for a long time.
Larson picking up the spare. Leona Wagner.
Okay, Leona's thrown 2 good shots here. Let's see if she can continue it on. That concentration.
Came up just a little short.
Might have gotten a little strong with that. It could be the oil might be carrying down a little. It's hard to tell what's going on out there right now, but you just have to fill the frames and make sure, you know, you get up there and stay around the pocket.
This is not an easy spare. 2, 4, 5.
No, not with the back ends hooking a little bit. You can always chop it.
All right. Jerry Edwards.
Housekeeping.
Yeah. It was a spider. Oh, my goodness. Whoa. What's that old nursery rhyme? Little Miss Muffet sat on a tuffet. Very, very kind, a humanitarian. She didn't kill it. She just took it off the lanes. This team qualified with 195.8. Their Baker average 181.2. Match play 7-2. No problem.
That was a great ball. Just stayed with that one, and I can't say it enough. I know I sound redundant, but if you don't stay with the shot in a condition like this, it's going to hook immediately.
26 pin lead right now. Shelley Rutherford.
Oh, she got lucky and broke that down. They didn't need as an open right now.
4-7. See those ladies back there in their red jackets, all the pins. They're a wonderful group. Helped us as volunteers throughout the week here from the Baltimore and Maryland Women's Bowling Associations. Brenda Norman. Vice grip. Needs to mark twice. That would pretty much do it. But now this is...
It's going to make it interesting.
Very interesting.
Hard spared.
4-5-7.
And you can hit this one perfectly and still leave the 7th.
Right there after that. And now here is Jackie Sellers. '87 and '88 Collegiate Bowler of the Year at Penn State. Nice going there.
Jackie's won the title on the ladies tour and very strong bowler. One of the few bowlers that doesn't wear wrist support when she bowls. Now she has to have the strike to stay in the match.
Wow. On the wrong side, but it worked.
Get another strike, and vice grips will need 2 pins.
6, I think.
That's right, 6
yeah,
pins.
6 to win. So we're going right to the wire here. And the winner of this match, of course, will face Kaviki's corner pro shot, White Plains, New York, our number 1 qualifier. Now she's done it. She's put the pressure right back on. Nice finish by Jackie Sellers. And here is Kathy Zelke. That's a winner. She needed 6. So it's going to be vice grips of Bel Air, Maryland to move on. And this was an outstanding match.
Yes, it was. And just as it's been the whole tournament, very close matches. You never can count anyone out.
Well, Vice Grips has won our opening match, and we'll be facing Kaviki's. And we'll be back with Around the Bowling World.
Hi. The AVP is Baltimore bound Tuesday night at 8 on Prime Sports.
It's time to go around the bowling world. Brought to you by Turbo 2-in-1 Grips. More top players are switching to Turbo 2-in-1 Grips. In Tucson, Arizona, 48-year-old Sandra Postma recently won the 35th Women's International Bowling Congress Queens Tournament. She faced previously undefeated Carolyn Doran for the title. Doran's 231.6 match play average set a Queens record, but she struggled in the final match. Postma claimed the title with a 226-187 victory. Also finishing in the top 5, Kim Cannaday, Carolyn's sister Kathy Doran, and LPBT star Tish Johnson. WIBC Championship tournament sites have been chosen through the year 2000. Next year, the competition moves to Buffalo, New York. In 1997, WIBC members will enjoy the spectacular setting of the National Bowling Stadium in Reno. The tournament rolls into the Quad Cities of Illinois and Iowa in 1998, and then to Indianapolis in 1999. In the year 2000, the tournament returns to Reno. WIBC President Joyce Deitch has received the Joaquin Lieber Award for distinguished service to the game of American 10 pins. The honor was announced at the National Women Bowling Writers Annual Meeting in Tucson. WIBC's Gladys M. Banker Friendship Award was recently presented to retired ABC Director and outgoing FIQ President Roger Tessman. WIBC also unveiled a new award which was presented to WIBC's Agnes Duffy. The honor will be titled the Agnes Duffy Volunteer of the Year Award for future recipients. Two-time Team USA member Steve Klemkin has been named Men's Collegiate Most Valuable Player by the National Collegiate Bowling Coaches Association. Klemkin recently helped Wichita State claim the 95 Intercollegiate Bowling Championships. Estella Arteaga of Illinois State claimed the Most Valuable Player honor in the women's division. We'll be back with our championship match right after these messages. And Michelle Feldman shaking hands as our championship match is about to begin. It'll be Brenda Edwards to lead it off for Vice Grips. They had a 17-pin victory over Du Bois Lanes in the opening match. Just a little short, 2.58.
I think they're going to have the momentum going with them. They came off from a nice victory, and I think that they'll do all right. Although, wait till you hear the statistics on this team that they're bowling.
Yeah, they've been awesome up to now. Here's the lineup for Kaviki's, our Contour Power Grip starting lineup. Contour Power Grips brought to you, of course, by Contour, pioneers in the finger grip industry. More pros choose Contour Power Grips, and you should too. Leading off, Michelle Feldman.
Now this girl, Jay, is 19 years old. She's on the Pro Tour for the first year, and she throws some ball.
She's out of Syracuse, New York.
She has no wrist support, no help of any kind, and she throws the ball as well as any woman I've ever seen.
Well, that's high praise from someone with your background. All right.
Now she's just got to learn what to do with it.
High Games, Sunset Recreation, Kaviki's, our #1 qualifier in the High Games, Michelle Marty, Linda Goodling. The high series of 7-10. Here's Jen Larson.
Hi, Jen.
Jen gets them all.
That ball held the line really well, and I think Jen needs a little confidence here. That should lift her up a little bit. As you can see, the ball's going long, longer than we've seen before. It's a lot of that has to do with the follow-through. She's 19 also, I believe.
Yes, she is. Here is Sheila Allen, computer programmer from White Plains, New York.
When I started bowling, I started at 11. And today, that would be late. Kids in their centers, they start bumper bowling at 2, and 11's like an old lady already. And as you can see how well these 19-year-olds are performing, you can see they've had a lot of bowling experience already.
Next week, we're going to see Sheila Allen's brother, who is qualified in the men's championship here, Patrick Allen. He's with the Columbia team. Jerry Edwards now. Winner of Billy Waylu's scholarship. And we've talked about her coaching Team USA. And you've talked about the wonderful work she does with young people. Look at the high averages here. Allison Allmang of Wichita, Kansas. Ree Mazzoni, Albany, New York. Kim Kennedy.
Kim Kennedy, boy, she's got a hot hand. She really bowled well this week, and she's been bowling well for the last month.
Very fine field here. Star-studded. Jackie Williams, a gold medal winner of the 91 U.S. Olympic Festival, was entered here. Team USA assistant coach Jerry Edwards, as we mentioned. Members of the Wichita State University women's team competed together.
It's just a great collection of different fields, diverse fields of women's bowling, and I'm sure eventually it'll be international, and just runs the gamut of all women bowling, coming out of the juniors, going into the collegiates, the pros, everybody. It's a great format.
Shafer. She's 30 years old, an accountant, lives in Perry Hall, Maryland. Perry Hall lanes, we mentioned, were site of the qualifier. We're going to take a timeout. We'll be back with more of the Brunswick World Team Bowling Challenge in a moment.
Getting the proper...
Baldwin, the proprietor of the Country Club Lanes, an avid Baltimore Oriole fan.
And Dennis has done something interesting. He's going to put $1,000 up for the winner between the winner of the men and the winner of the women.
Yeah, that'll be fun, won't it? That was Brenda Norman with that strike.
Oh, they're so happy when they strike. Isn't it great?
Sure is. Here's Kathy Kaviki, pro shop operator, lives in North Babylon, New York. She owns 7 Women's All-Star Association titles, and we can see why.
You know, she's the proprietor of both of the pro shops and drills the bowling balls as well. So she has a lot of stock to choose from. You can see her style. It's a power game, which a lot of women have today, and just threw it right in the pocket. Bad break.
That was a bad break for Kathy Zelke.
I've done it. I've seen it. I hate it.
Well, but you keep coming back, right?
That's right. She'll move, switch balls, move all the way to the right, and go cross lane. Talk about a bowling family. Her husband's written a bowling book. He's a fat ball rep on the tours. I mean, they're all just so involved in bowling.
Well, what a wonderful sport it is for the entire family. Here's our first look at Carol Czar. Carol's 39, a junior bowling instructor, and lives in Milton, Pennsylvania. Owns an LPBT national regional title.
Now, Jay, if you see her footwork, I don't know if we'll be able to get a shot of it, but it almost looks like she's stumbling as she's going to the line. And the interesting thing to me is here on synthetics, because sometimes synthetics a little slippery, and I was just waiting for her to fall and hoping she didn't.
The 310 down there. Yeah, she does a little bit of little step there, but gets the job done.
Yes, she does.
She has a little hitch in her get along.
Yeah, she's won a lot of titles.
Brenda Edwards, vice grips. And this one gets them all, although it came up a little short.
That's a great break right there. Coming in light, no chance for a strike, and all of a sudden everything starts falling. The key, keep it in play, and that's just what they're doing, just keeping the ball in play.
Feldman
think she's got a bright future.
Well, certainly at age 19, as you mentioned, she's got a tremendous amount of talent. Just did get it. We're going to take a timeout. Vice Grips is up by 16 in this championship match. We'll return after these messages. Grips. It's a 2-game championship match, and she comes up short there.
Well, she just didn't get it up to the pocket. Left the washout.
Winner of this match, of course, will go to the Grand Championship Women's Division in Reno. They already have the Contour team qualified in Indianapolis in April. The Tulsa Women's Bowling Association qualified in January in Las Vegas. We have a collegiate team of All-Americans, Team USA Women, sponsored by Lynn's. The WIBC National Tournament team, 6 teams from the United States will be qualifying, a couple from Korea, 1 from Canada, and looks like we're going to have about 10 teams in the women's division. $50,000 total prize money at the National Bowling Stadium, July 16th through the 19th, the Grand Championship of the Brunswick World Team Bowling Challenge. Nicely done by Sheila Allen.
That ball had hair on it, I think. I don't know. I don't want to get in the way of those.
2-time New York State amateur champion.
Just a powerful strike. If you want to be any good at all today and you're a lady, you've got to get some power, some velocity in your game, because you just can't compete anymore with just a slow, smooth approach. You have to have something going for you.
But it doesn't necessarily just take size, because, I mean, I've seen, and we've seen today, these lovely young ladies, some at about 5'4" or 5'5", generate pretty good power and speed.
Absolutely, and there's a lot of ways you can do that. You can move back on the approach. You can have a higher backswing. There are a lot of ways to create velocity on the ball, and then with the equipment today, you just have just an enormous amount of technology that can make you a better bowler, and it's to your advantage to find out what it is. Go to your pro shop and find out what can help you.
Karen Shafer, a member of the '87 West Texas State University National Collegiate Champion team, and a problem here.
Yes, another washout, and you can see there's an area right around the second arrow, and if you go a little bit to the right of it, you're going to catch that long oil, and the ball's just going to go straight. And if you go a little to the left of it, it's going to hook dead left. So you really have to be sharp on this condition. It's a playable condition, but you have to be sharp.
Do it any better than that, the 1-2-10.
That was a perfect shot.
Qualifying averages, you see Becky's corner at 204.4, and the Baker system 194. 9-0 in match play for Kaviki's corner.
You see some of the players that don't use speed in their game are going to have to make the adjustments. The players that throw it a little bit harder, this condition is more conducive to their game, in my humble opinion.
This is Brenda Norman.
Much better shot, much more authority.
Here's the round by round, and they led all the way across. Kaviki's, and you talked about the move that Vice Grips made.
And they were still moving, but they ran a little short of games.
Well, it is the number 3 team against the number 1 team in this championship. Here's Kathy Kaviki, 4-time Player of the Year.
Looks like she might have hung up a little bit on her thumb. She lofted that one a couple of feet more than she normally does. But it's a little warm under the lights, and you have to get a good grip out there. We, women, sometimes, you know, with our hormones and things, our thumb tends to swell and go down a little bit. You guys don't have that problem, but we have that problem. So we have to be a little more conscientious about taping the ball, taking tape out. You can see it when they show the replay of this. Watch the release and watch as she lets go of the ball. It's going to stick a little in your thumb, and it just lofts a little bit extra, and the turn makes the ball hook left.
Zelke.
Sometimes you get those breaks going for you, and sometimes nothing will fall. It's like the pins know when you need them and when you don't need them. But that was a great break. If she strikes out, it'll be 197, and they're going to win this first game. Advantage of that broken strike.
It will be a 2-game total, of course, to decide this championship, but the ladies of Vice Grips coming from the number 3 spot, looking very strong. And Vice Grips will have the lead after this first match.
For the next game. However, they will be bowling on another lane.
That's
so
right.
We have to see what happens.
Carol Czar, 5-time Women's All-Star Association Bowler of the Year.
She strikes out, they'll only be down by 6 pins.
She certainly could have used the strike there.
Okay, we're going to show her footwork again, and it's a little tricky there, but she's got it all together. Right at the end, you know, it doesn't matter how you get there, but right at the end, if you're solid and you have that ball next to your ankle, you're going to be fine. Now, they made fun of Don Carter, too, but it worked okay for him.
Did they really?
Still do.
Yeah, he got the job done pretty well.
Yes.
We will return as Vice Grips has won this first match. More in a moment. And it will be Michelle Feldman leading off for Kaviki. Problem early. It is the 3-6-9-10.
I think that she's going to have to speed up a little on that lane, because I think it is hooking more, and she can afford some more speed. She's just a little slow, and with her release, she can bring it back farther than any of these other women. Great spare.
Vice Grips was down 30 pins in their opening match to Du Bois Lanes, came back and won. Now they're up by 30 against our number 1 team, Kaviki's.
And that's an interesting point, too, because some people are better front runners and other people, you know, are better coming from behind. So you just never know. You know, each of them have their own mentality and how they're going to play. So it's up to each other to keep each other up all the time.
Brenda has that cheery presence about her. Threw a good ball that time. Didn't get the 10. Came back smiling.
That's one happy family, I have to tell you.
Yeah,
I like to know what they're eating or what they're doing.
Bowling has turned them on.
Yes.
All right. Well, November 18th and 19th in Orange County. This is our 95-96 schedule. Then St. Petersburg in January. These are women's events. In January in Las Vegas. And in February, Indianapolis, then on to Dublin, California in May, and back here in Baltimore in June. Sheila Allen.
Oh,
that looked good, left the second.
She got all of that one, and unfortunately, the 5-pin crossed in front of the second pin.
To enter for the 95-96 season, call our good friend Tom Bodecker, 414-423-3415. Get your team together. Become a part of the Brunswick World Team Bowling Challenge, which is growing in popularity leaps and bounds, not only here in the United States, but all over the world.
You have to get those entries in quickly because they do fill up fast.
That's right.
They really do.
Jen Larson, her vice grips. This is interesting with the Nebraska-Penn State relationship on so many of these players. A little high, but she got him.
It held right at the pocket.
My, oh my. You know, Paula, that's another thing I think that we've seen over the last 10 or 15 years, the tremendous growth of the bowling at the college level.
Yes, there has been. When I went to college, there was very little bowling at all. And now they're starting, I think, with the junior highs and the high schools, and then it goes right in, filters right into the collegiate program.
Aaron Shafer with the strike. And they're getting great coaching today, and here's one of the ladies who's doing that kind of coaching, Jerry Edwards.
And they even bowl a lot of their tournaments Baker system.
That's right. That's the first time I ever saw it, doing the collegiate tournament a few years ago in Portland, Oregon. I know it turned me on, and certainly with the success that we've seen with the Brunswick World Team Bowling Challenge with this Baker system, it's wonderful. Team bowling among the pros was very popular back in the 30s and 40s, 50s, but changed somewhat, but now it's returning its popularity and the fun of it. It creates a whole new kind of chemistry.
Yes, it does, and people in our communities are asking for it. They want tournaments. They want, 3-team tournaments. They want 5-team tournaments. So, with these televised events, it's really creating a lot of interest, and that's what we need to be infused into bowling.
Kaviki, winner of 26 medals in the Empire State Games, state of New York. Oh, boy.
She used a lot of speed in that ball to hold that line, because that's the lane that is hooking a little early.
There's Elaine Hagan, WIBC first vice president, the driving force behind this event and so many of the events involved in the world of women's bowling.
When you talk to Elaine about it, boy, she's so excited. It's so cool to see, someone so excited about this format.
Brenda Norman.
She's going to switch balls. What they do is they usually switch to a harder surface ball, smoother surface, so the ball doesn't hook as much for the corner pins on either side.
Okay. At the moment, Vice Grips is up by 20. The 94-95 schedule was expanded in this Brunswick World Team Bowling Challenge. The national schedule and more international involvement. It's going to continue to grow in 95-96. And nice going there. That was Carol Czar.
That was a big ball because that was for a turkey.
Now Kathy Zelke. Vice Grips and Kaviki's battling for the championship here.
If they don't get started now, they're going to be in trouble.
Ooh, 7th hit.
They just have to make their spares, but somewhere along the line, they're going to need to catch a string of strikes because they had that late open in the first game, put them down. Now the other team has a turkey, so they're going to have to really get going.
That hurts. That is a tough one. Filling the frames, all important. Right now, Kaviki's is up by 2. We'll be back. And Brenda Edwards with a strike, and 1 pin now separating these two teams.
And that's the way it was the whole tournament, just back and forth and very close matches.
Sheila Allen, 2-time New York State amateur champion. That one got away.
Just totally lost it. Looked like just her concentration, everything collapsed right at the end.
And you can see the frustration kind of moved to the teammates as well. And this 139 leave to pick up.
Right. Once again, it's not a normal leave for a right-hander, so there's always that chance of missing it.
Well, she got the job done. And now that picks them right back up.
Yes, it does. Right back in the match.
Young Jen Larson. How about these younger college students? I know they're getting a lot of competition, but is there more pressure on them than, say, the younger folks? I mean, the older folks?
Maybe they don't realize it.
I guess not. Obviously not.
When I was 19, I thought I was infallible, you know? And as I got older, the more I learned, I think the more insecure I got.
Yeah, you go through a period of time there, don't you?
Yes.
Maturing, I think it's called. Shafer's got to hurry. Didn't get up.
Karen's also a collegiate bowler from West Texas State.
Right.
She was in the LPBT and
88 FIQ World Youth Championship Masters champion.
She shot a 300 in the Queens tournament, the first girl to do that. A look of determination right there.
Yes, indeed. Jerry Edwards, lady with a lot of experience. Teeny bit short.
She came up on a little light on that lane. That's the lane that isn't hooking as much again, but the lanes, they're not easy. I must say they're tough. And the women like them like that. They like a grind out.
Good job there. And now here again is Kathy Kaviki. 25 pins the difference. All right.
Well, it was ugly.
It was a Brooklyn strike, huh?
But it'll do. As you see, she comes in high, almost totally Brooklyn, and they all just collapse. Jersey squasher.
Got a lot of help from the 6-pin there. Brenda Norman has it on the way. Lane's probably breaking down a little bit at this point with the heat.
And they've bowled a lot.
Yeah.
You know, so they could be getting a little fatigued right at this point. But now's the time you got to, you know, reach down deep and come through.
And checking those scores, Vice Grips up by 23.
Circumstances. You can see how happy she is.
They're beginning to feel it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, here is Carol Czar. And let's see if she can get it going here.
You know, you almost want to point the ball in, because if you get it too far to the right, it's not going to make the turn. And as soon as you let up on the speed a little, it's going to hook. She did what she had to do. She had to make that spare.
Well, vice grips very much in the driver's seat here.
Finished with a 198 that game, which in Baker's system is a good game.
Yeah, Kathy Zelke just has to stay behind the line here. 4 pins on the first ball will win it. End of problem. And Kathy's husband, Chip, got to be very happy. Well, this is something we don't see very often. Number 3 qualifying team knocking off number 2 and then number 1. Vice grips, Bel Air, Maryland. Local heroes, you might say. Very wonderful victory, and they advance to the Grand Championship in Reno, July 16th through the 19th at the National Bowling Stadium.
See what enthusiasm gets you, I'll tell you. They're really, really animated team.
And a wonderful victory for Vice Grips here at Country Club Lanes. We'll return right after these messages.
To you by Brunswick. Bowling is sold on Brunswick worldwide. Buy Lynn shoes. For the performance approach, it's American-made Lynn shoes, the choice of top professionals and amateurs alike. Buy the ABC MasterCard. Get a grip on your finances with the ABC MasterCard. Buy Keepsake, designer and manufacturer of championship ring awards. Buy Avis Rent-A-Car, the official car rental agency of the American Bowling Congress. And by the American Bowling Congress and the Women's International Bowling Congress, providing championship service to sanctioned leagues across the United States. Make sure your league is sanctioned by the national governing bodies.
Our champions, Vice Grips, coming all the way from the number 3 spot. Congratulations, you did a wonderful job. And we're going to get the presentation of the goodies out of the way. Elaine Hagan with the plaque.
Kathy, what a thrill it is for me to make this presentation to you. Your team came from the 3rd spot, and we think it's just terrific. And congratulations, and we'll see you in Reno, Nevada, July 16th.
Elaine, thanks for being here. Pearl Keller now with the ring.
And congratulations, Kathy, and all your teammates. You're a great example of what this World Team Challenge is all about.
Thank you very much, Pearl.
And from right here, the man who runs this place, so to speak.